With Ein Yacov learning, we are now looking at more comments based on Berachot, Talmud Berachot 3b, and we're learning more about the night watches. There's a difference of opinion whether there's 3 night watches, 4 night watches, and so we're looking at this paragraph in Ein Yacov, and we're looking at more about the night watches. Our rabbis have taught that the night is divided into 4 watches. So says the Rebbe, which is Yehuda Nasi. Rabbi Nathan says there are only 3. There's a discussion between 3 or 4. What is Rabbi Nathan's reason? Because it says Gideon and the 100 men with him arrived at the outpost of the camp at the beginning of the middle of the Chatichona watch, according to Judges chapter 7, verse 19. And we've learned from this term, Techiona, in the middle, can only be used if something precedes and something follows. The Gemara asks, and how does Rebbe understand the term Tichona? The Gemara answers, he holds that Tichona means in the middle of one of the middle ones. Rabbi Nathan argues, it does not say one of the middle ones, it says the middle. The Gemara asks, what is Rebbe's reason for stating that the night has 4 watches? Rabbi Zerika, in the name of Rabbi Ami, quoting Rabbi Hoshua ben Levi, said Rebbe derives it from the following verses. One verse says, I wake up at night to praise you for your just rules. Tehillim, or Psalms 119, verse 62. Another verse says, my eyes precedes the watches of the night. Psalms 119, verse 148. Meaning I am up even before the watches of the nights are over. How is it possible that he woke up at midnight and still had 2 watches ahead of him, since the plural watches mean at least 2? This is possible only if the night has 4 watches, 2 before and 2 after midnight. But Rabbi Nathan holds, as did Rabbi Yoshua, who said the morning is a Shema and may be recited until the 3rd hour of the day, because the kings usually wake up in the 3rd hour of the day. They sleep 6 hours of the night and 2 hours of the day, which amounts to 8 hours, or 2 watches of 4 hours each. And King David says, I wake up at midnight, which is 8 hours, or 2 watches for 4 hours each before the king rises. Rabbi Ashi said 1 watch and a half is also called, in plural, watches. The Gemara now brings an unrelated halakha from the same spokesman. Rabbi Zerika, speaking in the name of Rabbi Ami, quoting Rabbi Yoshua, also said, in the presence of the dead you should discuss only things that have to do with the dead, in other words, not with the living. Rabbi Abba ben Kahana said this pertains only to the words of Torah, which should not be discussed, but there is no harm in discussing worldly matters. But some say that Rabbi Kahana said the halakha applies even to words of Torah, and surely worldly matters should not be discussed in the presence of the dead. And this has to do over the issue of the watches of night and so forth. In our next video on Ein Yacov, we're going to be looking at David's harp, and then the following video on David's piety and humility. Stay tuned and share this with others as we are learning and we're going through the Sefer Ein Yacov. Shalom, shalom.